Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on this, our second call in this particular segment of our training series. Our number one mission on Monday nights is to come together to create positive energy, engage simply and efficiently, and be accountable to each other, to make progress together, because that's when humans are most happy, when they are making progress. Our stretch goal is to get as far as we can in both the Run for the Roses bonuses and also for recognition at Beauty Summit for the month of July, tracking together from now through then to also get in our days, in our bodies, in our minds, these habits for good business overall in the long term. So last week, we talked about really buying into what we're doing here and presenting ourselves with integrity and with as much authenticity as possible. We went over some great question structure for those conversations we are out there having or looking to have more of. And also we discussed setting a power hour to ensure that we're actually having those conversations and something to measure them by. So the number one thing I've both experienced and seen is that we think we're having more conversations than we actually are. So the power hour and accountability is crucial. We heard Caitlin Shipp's story behind her steady progress, and the key takeaway being that consistency in this can look like nothing for a while, like nothing's happening, but then begins to bloom in spurts, and then it blooms and blooms if you remain with that consistency. So there's huge importance in that, and also in the active relationship between you and your mentor and or pacing partner. So if you haven't heard that yet, be sure to catch the replay. There was lots of juicy stuff in there. This week, we're super excited because we get to hear from our very own Meredith, our executive team leader and our resident social media master. We're so lucky to have her on this team. I know that her tips in that arena are going to be, they're more than tips. It's like a masterclass, really. Mm-hmm. They'll be very, very beneficial to us. And meant to be paired with, but is even better than the advice in the Ray Higdon freakishly effective social media methods. I hope everybody is getting that book and checking it out. Meredith is a perfect person to guide us through the material in that book, as well as her own knowledge in an order that's right for us. So we're also going to be hearing from her team member and our own team member, of course, Melissa Becker, who promoted to senior specialist in March and is doing a very admirable job growing her business as well. And I really wanted us all to hear about her story, what she's doing, how she's working with Meredith. And I know everybody here can benefit from that as well. So without further ado, take it away, Meredith.
All right. Thanks, Amelia. I am super excited about this. I actually was very much into passive income or the idea of passive income long before ever even rolled around in my lap. I had started a blog and a podcast and had done a number of months worth of research prior to this about how do you build a company? How do you build something from the ground up? How do you market yourself? How do you brand yourself? And through some of that training, I kept hearing the same things over and over, and how important social media was and how to use it effectively. I think I have taken, over the course of 2.5 years, I think I've taken 3 master classes and 2 additional workshops. And a lot of what we're going to talk about today is in Ray Higdon's book. And I picked out certain pieces that I made sure that had arced through all 5 of those different classes. So you're going to find a lot of very similar threads. In fact, as I was reading his book, I'm marking things that say things like, yes, exclamation point, and big hearts, because there are things that you can do, you can put into practice today that will make a huge difference. So this part of the call is going to be broken up into 3 parts. The first part is the psychology behind social media and why you need to be on it. And then the other 2 parts are going to be actionable steps. One for posts and how to formulate your posts. And then the third is live video. And then in talking with Amelia and Leslie, we are going to do some additional social media calls in the future, because this is definitely not a one-off, because there's so much information to be had. So without further ado, Here we go. The first thing that you need to do is make 2 decisions. And Amelia touched on these a little bit last week, and she also touched on them today. The first decision that you need to make is you need to know that what you are doing matters. What you are doing in your work through Ever absolutely matters. And it matters not just to you, and it matters to other people. It is a profession that you should feel pride in. And you can feel fear and pride at the same time. But if you are embarrassed about what you're doing, you need to stop whatever you're doing and work on the mindset related to that, because anything else that I'm going to talk about today is going to make it harder. Okay. So get in that place where you feel proud of what you're doing, that you are offering clean ingredients and amazing skincare to other women so that they can feel proud of themselves and they know that they are not going to get sick because of these products. The second thing you need to do is you need to realize what an amazing thing social media is for you, that it is going to help drive and guide your business, and that it's here to stay. And there is nothing to be ashamed about with social media, that it is absolutely worth your time and effort. Before we get too far into this, does anybody have like a misnomer about social media that they want to share, that we want to tackle really quick before we move forward? Nope, we're good. We love social media. Okay.
What would an example of one be? Like a common one that you hear?
That social media is for people who don't want to work. That social media is for people who want to be fake out in the real world, people who are full of lies, and people who are only out there to spread hate and fear. Mm-hmm. And there are people that are like that. I know someone personally that had to take themselves off of social media because of how angry it made them, because they would get so riled up about other people's posts. And they thought that anybody who was on social media shared that same mindset as all of those negative people.
That's so interesting. I mean, my sister-in-law is a perfect example. She refuses to get on social media. Mm-hmm. And I just have such a different mindset about it that I've never understood it. So thank you for clarifying. But there's this group of people that just won't get on. Mm-hmm. And so I imagine the people that aren't on are in that camp of thought.
Yeah. And they will fall. If they ever choose to be an entrepreneur, they will fall short in whatever endeavor they want to do, whether it's for a nonprofit, whether it's to start their own business. If they can't get on the social media train, at some point their business will be dead. Mm-hmm. And that includes anybody who has a storefront. So on that vein of social media, it is not anything new. Social media is it's been around for a really long time. It's water cooler talk. It's when you get your grandpas together at, like, say, Hardee's, and they're having coffee and they're talking to each other. It's door-to-door salesmen who have talked about their product and started creating networks. The only thing that's different now is the actual platform in which we choose to do it. So when you look at social media, think of it as an extension to your Chamber of Commerce meetings, or your B&I groups, or your women's groups, or groups like this where we're all in different states, but we have created a social network of support under a like mind. And that is exactly what you're doing with your business. So there's a lot of fear in social media. And the biggest fear is the fear of rejection. It's flat out what it is. It doesn't matter if you're afraid, oh, they're going to look at me funny. Oh, am I pretty enough? Am I beautiful enough? Is what I'm saying true? Am I articulate enough? Am I brave enough? Do I have the right look? All of that stems from a fear of rejection. So most people, the truth is, most people will just ignore your posts or scroll on by. Very rarely, especially at this stage of where we are at, very rarely are you going to get people who are going to hate on you hard. And if you do, you have those block buttons that you just hit that block button. And constantly remind yourself that someone else's negativity is a projection of themselves, not you. Okay? So somebody else's negative response to you is a projection of themselves and not you. So your whole goal with social media is going to be to connect to other people. You need to choose a platform. For what we're going to be talking about in the next couple of weeks, we're going to focus on Instagram and Facebook. When you look at these different platforms, each one serves a different target audience. For what we are doing, our target audience pretty much lives in Facebook. You've got people in their late 20s all the way to their 80s on Facebook. It's become the largest marketplace in the world for buying and selling. Instagram is known specifically for millennials, and we're looking at 13 to 25-year-olds. You notice that the platforms are different. How you interact on them is different. Same with Twitter and Pinterest. Now, all of these could be successful business places forever. Your goal is going to be to choose one and only one. Until you become really, really good at that. And then we can start branching off into another one, because you need to know kind of like the ins and outs and how they work. And I've tried multiple platforms at once, and it's exhausting because each one requires a different way to interact. So like I said, we'll be focusing on Instagram and Facebook. There are two different types of marketing when you are doing social media. The first one is passive. I think that all of us fall into the passive trap, which is where you throw a post up there and you run away and hide. And you throw something on your story and you run away and hide. And you're like, look at me, here's my sale of vacay is coming out and these illuminating oil. You go, it's coming, call me. That's passive. All you're doing is throwing a sign up there. It's necessary and it's needed, but it shouldn't be the majority of what you're posting. The second one is more active, and that's called prospecting. That would be where you are reaching out to people. And we're going to talk very specifically about how you reach out to people and how to tailor those things. But the prospecting is where you turn around and you say, hey, Melissa, I saw that you commented on my post. Have you used self-tanner before? Oh, hey, Karen, I saw that you went to Cabo. Do you have a favorite sunscreen that you use? So in those asking questions, you are prospecting, you're building a relationship. And that is the whole point of the social media. You need to be very social. You need to be commenting on other people's posts. You need to be reaching out to those people who comment on yours. When you're purchasing, or people make purchasing decisions, they do it from an emotional place, which is one of the reasons why stories are so big. They want to purchase from people that they know, like, and trust. And the only way for them to get to know you on social media, to get to know you, to learn to like you, and to trust you, is you have to be there. You have to be posting on Facebook. You have to be doing Facebook Lives. You need to put some things on your stories. And then you need to turn around and start commenting on people's stories or other people's comments and things like that. So let's back to the prospecting part. There's been a lot of talk about like brand recognition and creating your own brand. You are not creating a brand. Ever is your brand, the end. You are you. You are marketing who you are. Ever has done all of the rest of that stuff. So Amelia's brand is different than my brand, is different than Karen's or Leslie's or Mary's or Angela's. Everybody's brand is different because each of us are different individuals. And what you bring to the table is going to attract your ideal client. I had a wonderful coaching call with someone a little over a year ago, and she's amazing at what she does. She's very, very harsh, but she'll get you to think. And one of the things that she said to me is, she's like, Meredith, they're going to purchase skincare and makeup from somebody. Why shouldn't it be you? And if you can't get out there and believe in your products, why should they purchase from you? You don't even believe in what you're doing. And it was like, oh my gosh, you're right. So I need to be the face of Ever in my world and who I am talking to. So think of that, write that down. They will purchase skincare from somewhere, from someone. It might as well be me. Why shouldn't it be you? You deserve it. You're out there working hard. You believe in the product. It should absolutely be you. As you are selling yourself, people are not buying your product per se. They are buying into you. They want to get to know you better. They want to build a relationship with you. They want what you have. Even if it might feel like it's a crazy hot mess sometimes, they want what you have. And that's, again, where the social part in the social media comes from. They see that you're doing. They see that you are a normal person. So again, you're going to be you, and you are going to help others. Another great piece of advice that I got, and I don't remember if it was from like old Beachbody days, but when you start putting yourself out on social media, whether it's to sell a product or to be a coach or something, you have immediately become a public figure. So each of you inside your brain, whether you want to say it out loud or you want to write it down, you tell yourself, I am a public figure. When you are a public figure, you need to start acting like it. So what I mean by that is, if you are going to brand yourself and you want people to purchase items from you, you need to put yourself out there in the best light. It doesn't mean you're going to be fake. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be real, but I would not be posting pictures of myself falling down drunk with my underwear hanging out or smoking a joint. Okay? Because again, you are a public figure. I've had a couple conversations with people in the ever space before about sometimes their political views. If you are going to brand yourself as a public figure, you might want to hold on to some of those political views and not share them, just because it can really be a turnoff for some people. And if you're trying to attract people to your business, you want to make sure that you are acting in a way that is professional. Let's see, before I keep going on, does anybody have any questions about the mindset behind social media and being a public figure? No, we're good. Okay. Let's see here.
What is someone considered an influencer?
Do you have products that you recommend to people? Places that they would like to go get coffee or go out to dinner?
Just have skincare that I like.
No, but like if somebody said, hey, Leslie, I'm going to be in Ohio. Can you recommend a great restaurant?
Yes.
You have just influenced somebody's decision.
Okay. So
you are an influencer.
Okay. So it's a very just general, I'm sort of fascinated by it. Mm-hmm. You know,
like when it comes down to it, anybody who you can provide information to that changes their purchasing decision, you are now an influencer. If you want to look at talking heads as far as what they deem is an influencer, it's people who can sway large quantities of people to make a purchasing decision. So large is a very abstract word.
I guess that was kind of my question. There isn't a number though. It's not like, well, if you have, 10,000 and up, you're, okay.
No, it depends on your following, and it's almost like how many super fans do you have?
Got it.
Would rate your status as an influencer, but each and every one of us on here is an influencer in a different way.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Does that make sense? Okay. No, great question. One of the things when you start moving out of the space of I'm only selling product and I'm now selling myself as a public figure, we need to pull back on some of the information that we're providing about the company itself. There's different ways to share that. We don't necessarily need to share all of the facts on a regular basis, because informed consumers will go out and do just that. They will do their own research. They will go to Ever. They will check out Jessica Heron. They'll do the research on the company themselves. What we need to start doing is, how has this company influenced me, and tell that story around it. How has it changed your life? So, and we're doing a really good job of it, by the way. So some of those posts out there that's like, I had a great weekend with my business partner, Jessica Heron. These are some of the things that we talked about. We are disrupting the beauty industry. That's exactly what you want to say. We didn't talk about how many consultants we have. We didn't talk about how many years the company has been here. We've been talking about what we as a collective group of women are doing for other people. And a lot of that just comes with practice. If you feel like you're giving even more facts on the company, just back that train right up, okay? Because they can find all those themselves through a Google search. One of the things with social media, from that place of fear of rejection, is also a fear of there's not enough people out there. And we know, the longer we're here, we know that that is a lie. There are so many people that don't even purchase skincare as part of their regular routine. There are so many people that have never tried it that want to try it. Dog. Damn it. My husband just got home. Sorry. But there is more than enough out there for each and every one of us. And you don't ever want to feel like you have to chase a customer. They should be coming to you. They will be clamoring to come to you. And you need to be ready for them, because people can smell desperation. They can smell that fear on you that you're not going to get like the products that you want, or the sales that you want and things like that. Don't worry about it. Not everybody is for you. And you're not for everybody. I have a tendency to attract a very specific kind of customer. As I'm sure if you think about your customers, they probably fall into a couple of different categories. And I don't necessarily think my categories would cross over a ton with Amelia's categories. We just have we're different people. We present ourselves in different ways, and neither one of those is wrong. It's exactly right. It's exactly who we are, and those people will find us. As we're looking at who to talk to next, in this next section, we're going to talk about 5 different kinds of posts. I want you to write down that anyone who shows interest is a lead. Anyone who shows interest is a lead. And interest can be a lot of things. Interest can be a like, it can be a view, it can be a comment, it can be a stop and take a look while they're at a pop-up and they're hesitating. That's interest, that's a lead. All right, here's where we get to the really good meat and potatoes, the actionable steps. And how am I doing on time? Am I okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let me know, like wave the red flag. There are 5 different types of posts. I'm going to go through each kind with you. I'm going to give you an example, and then we're going to brainstorm. Because when you leave here tonight, I want you to walk away with 30 to 45 different ideas of what you could be posting on social media. So the first type of post is a value post. They're going to offer a solution to a common problem. And usually it's a problem that the masses have. And when I'm talking post, I'm going to kind of use it interchangeably with a video, because a lot of these you can do with a video. You want to share what you're interested in. You're going to give an introduction, ask them a question, give the content, and then do a small call to action. So one that I did last week, and I know Melissa Becker did it as well, a value post was when we went on and we talked about luminous and rebalance and the changing seasons and how it affects your skin. So we did our intro. Hey everybody, it's Meredith. Let's talk about our skin. Have you noticed, here's your question, have you noticed that as the weather changes, so does your skin? What was working before isn't working anymore? Let me tell you why. And then we talked about why, about the humidity and the weather change. And then the solution that we were offering is taking a look at different face washes that you're using and different moisturizers that you're using. Then we asked for comments below. Not once did either of us say, you can purchase both of these products through us. We were just giving them information. We were showing ever products, but we didn't say buy them from us. They can use their own moisturizers, their own face wash. But what we're doing is we're getting them thinking about it, and we have just offered them something for free. We offered them information. When you are commenting or people are commenting on your posts, it's important to let them know that you're going to respond personally. And I know that seems silly, like neither of us are, well, most of us are not running like huge, ginormous teams or a huge conglomerate. We are all checking our posts personally. However, there are bots out there that will respond for other people. That coach I was talking about, she uses bots to respond on every single one of your comments, of one of her comments. So to tell people, I will get back to you within 24 hours. I will personally respond to everyone who comments. It goes back to that know, like, and trust factor. Okay, so that was the first one. That was a value. That was a solution post. Number 2 is a recognition post, and our team is amazing at this. What recognition posts do is they provide social proof that you are who you say you are, that the goals that you have set and the success that you have, because it's coming from someone else, is proof. So again, another great reason why Amelia and all of us are promoting one another, you should be putting those on your person's personal page, and make sure you get clearance from them, talk to them about it if they're not comfortable with that. But what it does is it says, here's an attaboy, this person, I'm saying this person who you might not know me, but I am saying she really is who she says she is. And that gives, again, that social proof. And again, use that at the end of that recognition post. You're talking about all the amazing things someone has done. They've really kicked butt. Feel free to reach out and chat with me if you would like to know more. That's it. We're not giving any links anymore. Thou shalt not leave a link in a post. It's illegal from this point forward. It's salesy. It's gross. Sorry. We don't want it. That's where the prospecting comes in. All right. So feel free to reach out to me and we can have a little chat. We want to keep it easy and breezy. They don't want to feel pressured. Number 3 is a story post. It comes out with a powerful start, and I know we've been spending a lot of time focusing on these. We know that we can share other people's stories. I shared a story post the other day about Melissa, Michelle, and Aaron. That was a story post, and I did it very specifically to share that story of women coming together and supporting one another. I mentioned Ever in there, never said join my team, never said anything like that. It was like, this is an amazing group of women. I'm so proud to be a part of them. I might have said, if you are missing out on a community, I'd love to chat with you, but I did not leave a join link. I'm just sharing a story. Next up, number 4 is an engagement post. These are a lot of fun. Engagement posts are designed to get people talking, to get people to respond to you that you can start creating a thread around. Engagement posts are usually the easiest, and they don't feel like you're putting yourself out there too much. But believe it or not, you're giving your audience a chance to get to know you. They can include things like fill in the blank posts, caption this photo. The one I did the other day was, I just finished 2 books. These are the ones I finished. I need a new book to read. I always get posts on that. It has nothing to do with Ever. Not once did I mention Ever. But what it's doing is it's creating an opportunity for people to interact with me and me to interact with them. Because we're back to building the know, like, and trust factor. And we'll talk more about engagement posts in a minute. The last one is a call to action. So call to action, you're going to do very less frequently. If we're looking at a calendar month, you want to do them maybe 3 to 4 times total. Less than 10% of your posts should be call to action posts. This is without a doubt a sales pitch. So as we're talking about the oil and the vacay that just came out, what we should have been doing, and a lot of us were doing it, was offer value with self-tanners. Oh my gosh, do you love the smell of Lavish? I'm so excited. I can't wait to feel this. It's going to be amazing. Here's a story about how somebody used the self-tanner and it worked out really well. There was no streaking. Engagement post, do you use self-tanner? Then, would you like to be on my pre-order list for vacay? It comes out tomorrow. Don't forget to get yours. And then if you did a selling post the next day. So what you've done is you've used all the different kinds of posts and you've built up excitement without them ever realizing that you've been talking about skincare the entire time, because you've been talking about yourself and you've been sharing who you are and inviting them to come in and share who they are. Let's see. Okay. The last 3 things on this part are consistency. You should be doing this every day in some way, shape, or form. And I will be the first one to tell you that I suck at doing it every day. It is on my goal from today until the end of June to do a post every day. So consistency is key. 2 is to be vulnerable, to get out there and be you and just show people who you are. So our vulnerability levels at this point, especially when we're not used to doing lives, is going to be really, really high, because just turning that button on makes you vulnerable. Okay. So I've been doing this for a while. I'm super comfortable. Today I did a post. It was an engagement post about, and it was a value post, about skincare, sunscreen, and sports, and then asking people what they were doing for like outside activities with their kids and what was keeping them busy. So that's where I was looking for interaction. I showed them all, and you guys probably can't see here because the lighting in here is terrible. I have vitiligo. So I have a number of white spots all over my hands. There, that light's a little bit better. The tanner I get, the more they stick out. I have a huge patch around here on my eye. Going in public and telling people about my vitiligo was probably the most freeing thing I ever did. Although when I got done, I cried the very first time I ever did it, because I'm like, oh my God, these people are going to be judging me. And I gave them reason to do it. Do you know how many people I've had reach out to me and say, I have vitiligo, do what you have. Will that help me? Will that help cover what I have? Will that help protect me from getting cancer? So because I was brave enough to just be me and talk about it, people started coming to me. Okay. So be vulnerable, be you. Each of us has something unique to bring to the table. And the last one goes with that. That is be authentic. People can smell a liar a mile away. Don't be anybody but you. Each of you has so many amazing talents and qualities. I suck at dancing. Melissa is amazing at dancing. There are some wonderful qualities that she can bring because of that training that I would never have. If I tried to pretend to be an amazing dancer, the people that really know me would be like, what the hell is she talking about? This is totally fake. I'm not going to believe anything that she says because she's now a big liar and I caught her in public. So just be you. Okay. All right. So here's where you're going to walk away with a bunch of posts. What are some value posts? And we're going to go through each one of those 5 categories. So if you guys want to all unmute yourselves, what are some things that you can share? And I'm going to be writing these down as well. Some value on.
One that you and I talked about, I was going to, I have a lot of friends that have preteens and teenagers. So I was going to talk about like preteen moms. I feel ya. We're all going through it together.
Okay,
you know,
perfect.
And just kind of mention like it would be great to get them on a, have them start washing their face, or, just something really simple.
Yep, you got it. Teens.
Toddlers.
Toddlers and teenagers. All right, so talk to me about toddlers. How are we going to do that?
Sunscreen.
For value, I think
Sunscreen, lavish for mosquito bites at the park.
Yeah.
Could we do preteens sunscreen, preteens lavish at the park?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just came up with 10. Keep going. How about the value of washing your makeup off before you go to bed? Which I also suck at. Because it dries out your skin. It's bad for your eyes. Here's my value post. That's something I need to get better at, washing my face before I go to bed, because not only will it dry out your skin, but it will irritate your eyes, and those bags I'm trying so hard to get rid of will actually be larger in the morning.
And it also causes your eyelashes to fall out more often and more frequently if you keep your mascara on them overnight.
Look at that. All right, we're washing our face as a value post.
You can also get eye infections. In case
Pardon
you
me?
can also end up with eye infections if you don't take the makeup off.
Yep, absolutely. Could we add value in changing out your washcloth every day or every couple of days, or washing your pillowcase?
And washing your brushes.
Ooh, there you go.
And you can wash your brushes with beauty water.
There you go.
Beauty water and Rebalance apparently are really good for that.
All right, let's do one more. Value post. How about hydration? The number one thing that you can do to stop the aging effects is to add hydration. And then you can talk about drinking more water. You can talk about protecting your skin from the sun, from the wind. How a daytime moisturizer is just as important as a nighttime moisturizer.
How about celery juice? Celery juice is really big in skincare, and celery has vitamin K, and it helps with firming.
Perfect. That's a post all by itself. All right.
I did a live on that, and it was one of the most well-received lives I've ever done, and I made a point not to mention ever one time. It's hard to do for me.
No, but that's
I did it. I did it,
That's
baby.
good.
I have a question related to that. You know, I have not seen celery juice in any stores. I used to be an aloe vera fan, and I drank aloe juice for years, and then I quit that, and then I drank something else. I've been through all the fads. I can't find celery juice.
But
I have a recipe. I'll tag you in the recipe. And Rooted sells it locally here, Barbara. Rooted.
Okay.
All right.
A post, finding a non-chemical sunscreen right now, because people are starting to need sunscreen for body, face, for kids.
You guys, when you do that and you look for the body sunscreens that are clean, just be careful, because when you click through, a lot of them lead to competitors. So that's just a separate conversation.
Screen your posts.
Yeah, but I do. You know what, Amelia? I'm going to work on a couple. I'll find a couple that are good that aren't going to lead them to tinted moisturizers and everything too.
All right, recognition posts. Let's brainstorm some different we all know Power Seller. You got that. What else can we do?
A story about them as a person.
Okay.
Or how you met, some kind of fun story about when they did something great in your life or for a friend that you witnessed.
What they've brought to the team, what the value that they've brought to the company, what somebody else had said, some great story about them. You know, if one of our leaders said something, or it's always nice, and people love that. Everybody loves it.
How someone had an idea because of what they said or what they, what they did. Like they saw themselves in that person and it changed the trajectory of their work.
And even shout outs that aren't related to Ever in any way, shape, or form will do a lot to speak volumes of how strong the community is. So in that case, you're not only recognizing the person, you're recognizing the fact that we have a strong community of team members, and people really feel like they miss out because they don't get cheered on enough. So like when Melissa was going through her art week and kicking ass with Ever at the same time, I shared her post of, hey guys, look at what she's doing. Look at all of the things that she's handling like a champ, even when she doesn't feel like maybe she is. Let's cheer her on. Had nothing to do really with Ever other than she had a little side hustle at the same time. So people are like, whoa, if she can do all of that, maybe I can too. And somebody will cheer me on. All right. Story posts, I am going to skip only because we've been talking so much about it. And I know, didn't we start a thread in there somewhere on different stories that we could share or things like that? Okay, so we're going to say see Team Ever thread. Sorry, keep writing down as we do this because I know I talked a lot. All right, engagement posts. This one is fun. How can you get people to comment or post?
What time did your toddler get up this morning?
There you go.
I put a shout out the other day asking, what's your favorite wine? Like,
yes,
I'm looking for a wine.
And you had like, didn't you have like 50 some responses?
I had so many responses. It's crazy. It's partly research for my husband, but it was like really cool because everybody loves wine. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, I think just taking something that you're interested in and actually posting about it, like Coretta did, like, what's your favorite diamond shape? And again, that's like just something that she loves and is obsessed with. But like, again, there was a ton of comments. Again, the same like Angela's wine thing, like, to scroll through that and not see something that's like judgy, or it just felt like comforting to just be something fun instead of something annoying or that comparative.
Right.
It's like, ooh, let me see what my favorite one is.
Yeah.
I wanted to add something about that though, because I do coach people, and I know people will say to me, I read all your posts, but I don't want to comment. And I've noticed that I tend to end a lot of posts with questions. Doesn't mean people aren't watching. People don't, a lot of times they don't comment at all.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we'll get to them as well and how to handle them if we have time. Okay. But no, because Barb, that's a real thing. If you're ever stuck on engagement posts, jump over to Instagram sometime and scroll through people's stories. Because they have those stickers, people can actually throw things in there like turkey burgers, hamburgers, fish, shellfish, just doing a quick, which one do you prefer out of two? Would you eat this for breakfast? What's your favorite flower? Do you celebrate Mother's Day? Anything that is a question to get people to respond. And I think the key that Melissa said is anything that you love and are obsessed with. Because again, they're buying into you as a brand. Don't feel like you're going to ask a question that you can't even handle. So like if somebody asked me a question about, I don't know, name a mainstream TV show that's not Game of Thrones. If you asked me about any live TV show, I would have no idea because I don't watch live TV. So if I came out with a live TV show question, people would be like, what the hell? She doesn't even have cable. Like, this doesn't make sense for her.
Mm-hmm.
So again, keep it to you. What is interesting to you? Because your people will find you. All right. And then call to action.
That's my problem.
Which part?
Oh, ever.
Okay, so then, Leslie, favorite shampoo, favorite nail polish, favorite.
You don't make one, so I don't wear it.
Maybe that's what it is. Ever doesn't make a nail polish. What should I use?
But am I allowed to do that, Meredith? Because I'm using the word ever.
Yeah, people know you're obsessed.
Okay, thank you.
There, we can do that one. Something about your, like, you have all those amazing wraps, like all those amazing shawls. Like, where do you guys get one from?
Well, Jules and Bing.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
And I shout her out all the time. You know why?
Missed that.
Because she loves Ever.
So there you go. You're connecting other people. All right.
All right. I'm muting myself.
No, don't mute yourself. Calls to action. Now, because we're not doing too many of these, we can probably get away with 3. What would you say would be the 3 calls to action that would be the biggest ones forever?
This month or always?
Like, what do you mean?
A regimen.
Calls to, like for product, you mean? Or
like using the regimen, having a regimen for yourself.
Okay.
And like it's not only like, it's like self-care, it's benefits for aging. It's like it has more than just one thing. It has, again, it can treat your hydration purposes during the winter, during the spring, during the summer, during the fall, whether you're in the north, whether you're in the south. It can help, you can share it with your children. You can share it with your preteens. It crosses all generations. It helps people that are in their 70s. It helps people that are in their early teens,
Yep. So then you're very specifically asking them, would you like more information on the regimen? Would you like to join my team after you just did a whole thing on the team? Would you like a specialist discount? So I feel like there's really only 3 that Ever has anyway. Teammates, discount specialists, specific to product. And if you're only doing 10% a month, if we're going to do 1 a week, you only get 4. So choose wisely. Now, reminding yourself, like, don't panic and be like, oh my God, I can only talk about this 4 times in a whole month. These are just posts. You are still able to prospect as much as you want. Okay. But when we're talking social media posts, 4 times. That's it. Nothing else. I see that face you're making, Leslie. All right. So this, I wrote down as many as I could, as fast as I could. I should have enough here that I could post every day for a month. And we've barely touched a fraction of the actual products.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
There are a lot of different sites out there that give you basically it's material that's ready to go. A lot of different wellness sites. You can click on it and just tons of good wellness articles pop up. And I see a lot of people using them, and I've used a couple myself. How do you feel about those?
I love them. Like if you have vetted them,
yeah,
I would consider that a value post.
Okay.
If you've read through them, like I'm in a like a clean living group, and she's constantly sharing different things, like different laws that have come out that have shown how poor some cleaners are. And, you know, she'll go through and she vets it really well. You can share that and add value, but just make sure that you believe it 100%. And I know Mary does this really well too. So it's like, if you're going to share something, it has to be something that you believe in. Okay. And then the librarian is going to tell me you have to do your research behind it as well.
Are you going to talk, thank you, Meredith. Are you going to talk tonight to how best to attract, to get new members to your group or Instagram followers?
Nope. Okay. Because right now it's just focusing on getting through the fear of rejection and being consistent and posting.
Okay.
Because you can't do any of the other stuff until you are comfortable posting every day or on a regular basis.
Got it.
And so would you say like post every day, at least 2 of those a week should be lives?
That's a whole different ballgame.
Okay.
So yeah, and I don't know where we're at for time.
We have about 10 more minutes only. So.
Okay. So I'm gonna address Barb's quick question here, and then I'm gonna leave. We didn't even get to the video part. I'm gonna address Barb's question and then end out with one other thing here. So Barb, what was your question again? I want to make sure I tie it in.
It wasn't a question. It was more that just even if you end a post with a question, sometimes people don't comment at all. I think it's still valuable.
Mm-hmm. So when you go, so Facebook does not allow you to view who has seen your posts, but if they like a post, you'll be able to drop that down and see everybody that has liked. If people have viewed your story on a Facebook story, it will show you who's viewed that story. So then, and most people will either view, so those are people that are viewing but aren't saying anything, and then you have the people that will click. So then your reach out, your prospecting then becomes, hey Barb, thank you so much for liking my post on celery juice. I really thought it was a really interesting article. I've tried it myself. I was wondering what you thought of that. So you're thanking them for their acknowledgement on your post. You are inviting them by asking them a question, and you're giving them an opportunity to get to know you better. And you can do that. Like when I get really bored, like I'm like, I don't know what, I shouldn't say bored. When I get to the point where I'm like, I don't know, like my market is so cold and I don't know who to reach out to, I will literally go through who has liked posts and write down their names and send them information like that. Very simple. Thank you for liking my post. I really appreciate it. Blah, blah, blah. Here's how we can connect about this. What do you think? So again, social media is all about being social. It's all about making connections. It's all about getting to know one another. Not once did I mention ever. I want them to know that I'm interested in getting to know them because they took the time to comment on me. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. With all, this is the last thing we'll say on the social media part. I would highly encourage you, as you are taking the time to write down these posts, to copy and paste them into some sort of a document, whether you do it in a Google Drive, whether you do it in a Microsoft Word.
Oh, I need to get more organized with my business.
Or Pages.
Is this too disturbing?
Copy and paste them and put them somewhere, because you can recycle those posts every single month. because the same people are not seeing the exact same posts. And if they are, what it shows is that you are consistent. I used to pay for a company called Meet Edgar, and it would post 3 different things every day. I told it what to post. It would post them at the most engaging time. And there was one post that popped up regularly, and it was, "We can do hard things." And I just had a real short phrase in there that is like, whoever needs this today, I'm encouraging you that whatever is hard in your life, you can do it. I wrote it once, and it posted it every single Monday morning at 9 a.m. And that post got more comments than anything else. "Thank you so much. That's exactly what I needed today. Thank you so much. I needed that." Even though they saw it every single week, they looked forward to that. So don't feel like if you've posted once on sunscreen with toddlers that you can never post it again. In fact, I would tell you that as we go back to consistency, that's what you need. People need to see you being consistent, because they're not going to get the message the first time you tell them. They need to hear it over and over and over again. So then you've just created a whole bunch of what we call evergreen content, and we're going to come back to that as we continue to do social media trainings.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, that was a lot. No problem.
Thank you. And
Thank you so much, Meredith.
yeah, this is going to be really helpful and is helpful, and we'll go the next couple calls continuing with this material, and these calls can always be something to refer back to and send new specialists to, and we'll have a whole method for that as well. So in our last few minutes here, we always want part of these weekly calls to have something to do with how a coaching is going and how someone's experience within coaching and being coachable is going, because that's one of the most important things we do. We become coaches and we remain coachable. So we really wanted to bring on Melissa Becker, who is just so inspiring to me, and watching she and Meredith work together to highlight a little bit about her story and what her process has been lately, especially surrounding her promotion to senior specialist and since then. So Melissa, do you want to, Meredith, Melissa, yes, I'm sorry, the two of you speak a little bit about these things.
All right. So I'm going to kind of guide you a little bit in this, Melissa. I know you're a little nervous. So we will just kind of go from here. So Melissa joined with the super fantastic October special that we had a year and a half ago, and was a discount specialist and loved it. And then one day she called me and said, "Hey, I want more." So what was it that made you take that leap? Because you'd been seeing everything forever and ever and ever.
I think, I was already doing another company and it was not going anywhere. And I was really getting frustrated with that. And the person who was above me lives in Wisconsin and was not very helpful or friendly. When I would reach out to her, she was kind of like, "Figure it out on your own." So Meredith has always been so friendly and helpful, and I felt like, since I love the product so much, this was something that I wanted to try to do, and I really believed in the product. So I felt like it's something that people would trust me about and already know my background and things like that. And I knew Meredith is somebody that would help me do what I need to do to get this going.
And one of the places that I think you have grown the most in, and I kind of want you to talk about it, is pushing through your fear. So when you first came on, one of the things that you were struggling with was, "I've done all these other companies. Why should somebody listen to me?" So how were you able to push through that and really start going for it?
Well, that's where your coaching really helped me a lot, because we kind of worked through the wording and a positive way to approach that. And you even talked about Jessica Heron, and look at her and all the great things that she does, and she does more than one company. And you just kept telling me, just be honest. People want to know the truth. And so I did. I went live and said, "I'm doing this, and here's why." And I know that you guys might think I'm crazy, but I'm putting something else on my plate right now, and these are the reasons why I really want to make this work. And people loved that I was honest. And a lot of people said to me, "Oh, I really need to pay off my bills too." And you know, all of the reasons that I talked about of why I'm starting. So I think it was good, like that honesty thing. And I think I love that we talk about that all the time, and being honest and putting yourself out there, and people will trust you and people will like you and they will follow you because of who you are. So I'm really just, you know, everything that Meredith throws at me, I try. Sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I just try and then I learn from my mistakes. So
yeah, no, you do an absolutely fantastic job. One of the things that I know that when I started, I was not coachable. You are very, very coachable. And that's why I think sometimes throwing out challenges, and that's something that I've learned by getting to know you, throwing out challenges at you, especially the ones that deal with your fear, that I know will be very successful. Even if the success is you didn't die. Like sometimes that is a success itself. So what would you say has been the hardest thing that I've asked you to do that you did it anyway?
Yeah, well, I talked to Meredith about, there's a coffee shop that opened in town, and I live in a really small town. So this coffee shop opening was a really big deal for us because we don't have a lot of restaurants, and it's been all the rave right now. And I've been talking about this a lot, and I had a launch, but it was pretty small. And so I need to start getting out there, meeting new people. And I said to Meredith, I want to do this. And I kind of knew if I told her that she would be like, then that's your challenge for today. So I just needed her to push me. And then at lunch, I chickened out. I was going to call on my lunch because I travel. And so I was going to call in the car, and I chickened out. And then I listened to our team call that night, and I said, I'm doing this. And it just gave me the motivation. So I know that I need to be pushed. And we talked about in our Marco Polo group that we will disappoint ourselves, and we don't mind letting ourselves down, but we don't want to disappoint the people around us. So if you promise somebody that you're going to do something, then you'll do it. Mm-hmm. So it's nice having that person to push you a little bit and to make you face your fears, because that's where all the good stuff is going to come from. If you don't do those lives, if they're terrible, at least you're getting out there, at least you're talking about it, you know, and at least you're learning of, oh, I see what I did wrong this time, I'll fix that next time.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I love about having you on, like that we are on a team together, is that I would never ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. So as you're doing things or you're asking me things, I'm like, I haven't done that lately. I need to go do that, because I can't have her do it and I don't do it, because that would be crappy of me. So I really appreciate that push and pull. You might not see that on my end, but I really like having somebody that like is in the same sphere I am, that we can do those things together. So you're coaching me just as much as I'm coaching you. I just happen to be I'm just the button pusher. So where do you want to go next? Like, what's your big scary goal?
I have a couple of, I don't know, I guess like dream team people or dream customers that I would like to reach out to. I did reach out to 2 already. I kind of challenged myself one Saturday morning, and I said, I'm just going to send the messages, and whatever happens, happens. They're, you know, just very well-known people in town. I would love to have them get the word out for me a little bit too. And so I did that. And so I'd like to start doing more of that, of just, you know, reaching out to people that I keep thinking about, and just do it, just reach out to them. But I like these ways of that we're talking about in the group tonight, of ways to reach out to people that aren't so salesy. Cause that's another thing that you and I have talked about, Meredith, is I don't want to sound gross. I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to be annoying. I don't want people to block me. I've been on Facebook with people like that, and I don't want to constantly see about their company and their products and things like that. So it's nice when we come up with those ideas to help each other out, of how to just engage people, things that I wouldn't have thought about before.
So Melissa, what did you say when you reached out to your dream team people and your dream customer people?
One person, she is a LuLaRoe, she has a LuLaRoe, and she's huge. I mean, she has a crazy business going. And so I asked her if I could just pick her brain a little bit, because I look up to her. She's a mom. She's a super busy mom, and she's a great business owner. And I told her, I wonder if I could just chat with her about how I can build my business, and if she had ideas and suggestions. And I said, I could even send her some samples so she could try it out, if that would help her, help me a little bit. I didn't hear back from her yet, but maybe I will sooner or later.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can always follow back up with her. Like, I remember seeing something back in the Beachbody days. It was like, so they didn't get back to you. And you want to know why? And they listed like all sorts of bizarre reasons. Like, they're using the bathroom, their kid just threw up, their dog died, they're in labor. Like, and they listed all these bizarre things where there's so much of time when people don't respond to us that we think it's something we did, and it really has nothing to do with us. It's everything on them. And as a person who, if it's not right in front of my face, it's gone and it's disappeared. So if I open up a notification and now I don't have that little button that says I have a missed message, it's out of my brain. I have completely forgotten. So
yeah, I'm really bad about that too. I'll tell people a lot, like, I text you back in my mind, but I forgot to actually text you back because I was reading it real quick at a stoplight or something. So I love that tracker too. I just watched the video in one of our training things on Lounge about that tracker, the 4 touches. And so I did print that off. That is great, because then you can keep track of it. It's visual, and you can see when is the last time you touched base with them, and it kind of reminds you to, check up with them again.
Yeah, so many times the follow-up, people will thank me for following up. They'll be like, oh, I've been meaning to get back to you.
Yeah, me too.
Check things all day. I'm terrible at it. I'll check things when I know I can't respond.
Yeah.
Because I'm addicted to scrolling, and I'm addicted to seeing what's the update, and I have 10 things I need to respond to, and I'm egregious about that. So understanding that, I think everybody's kind of in that boat, and it's just like, it's literally not personal. That's a perfect thing to do. I totally do that too with Dream Team Scary People.
Yep.
I'm like, I admire you so much. I would love your opinion on this line as an expert.
Yep.
Or your opinion on what you're doing, what I'm doing, advice, blah, blah, blah. That's perfect. My top takeaways from your all's exchange right now, there's some key things. When Melissa said, everything Meredith throws at me, I try. That is key. Key. And then learning from mistakes. And then Meredith really getting to know how she ticks. She knows that if she throws a challenge, that's going to be good for her. Other people, it might not be that way. Maybe it's something else. That learn how each person ticks. And then absolutely, it's so true that an engaged team member makes you so much better at your business. And they like that symbiotic relationship, both minds get more active, more ideas are exchanged. Almost all my good ideas lately have come from like coaching conversations, because my team member will say something. I'm like, oh my God, I need to do that. Or it keeps you on your game. Just like Meredith said, I need to go do those reach outs, because I'm not about to tell someone to do them if I haven't done them. So it's just priceless. And it's like coachability it's a two-way street, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's the best kind of thing to say to brand new people, or retouching in with maybe people who aren't as engaged as they were. To restart that kind of conversation with that authenticity, just like we're bringing to our posts and our lives, that vulnerability too, right? Because then it just opens everything up for more possibility. So, well, we're a little bit over time. I found this invaluable, and especially this last part with you, Melissa. So inspired by you and everything you're doing, and you're just going to just continue to grow and rise, and we're all going to continue to learn from you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations on everything, Melissa.
Thank you for all your help. I appreciate it. Amelia.
Let us know when that Lulu Rowe gal gets back to you and ends up as one of your team members. You have to let us know, okay? And it might be a year from now. That's the crazy part. Who knows? But it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys should do pop-ups together.
Yeah.
Sure.
Tag team.
And it's just open. See, I would like to open up my network to you. That's all you have to say. And she'll be like, okay, I'd love to open up my network to you. Let's chat.
Mm-hmm.
Done. Who doesn't want that?
Great, Melissa.
You're awesome.
Thank you. Thank everybody.
Well, and I know we're almost done here, but I think this is, it goes back to, it happened in my life and it happened in Melissa's. We were just kind of putzing around as discount specialists until we made a decision.
Karen Young as well.
Yeah. Once that decision is made, then we just move forward. So a lot of those teammates that you might have sitting out there that are discount specialists, when they are ready and when the time is right, they will make that decision. And and from the time you've made the decision, you've been going crazy, especially in like the busiest time of the school year.
Yep. Same with customers.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Everyone's in the oven. Everyone's cooking.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, so before we like officially are over, your challenge from me is to do two things. One, come up with a calendar of posts, and it can just literally be a paper calendar where you're like value, story, engagement. You don't have to write them all out, but just this is what I'm going to do today, and then do it. And then since we have this group here, we will all be interacting, which will then, in the algorithms, boost your posts up.
Mm-hmm.
And hearts, not just likes, right? It needs to be hearts and long comments, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I can't not do a heart. I can't just do a like.
I feel like it's me if I just do a like. It's like,
it's like your average.
You're like, meh.
Yep.
I almost would rather scroll by.
Well, and okay. I know we're totally over time, but this is another one of those things. Like mentally speaking, likes used to be huge.
Right.
And you got like likes, and that was awesome. And hearts were like, I don't know if I really feel that way about you. And now things have really shifted, mentally speaking, that you need that heart. And that's what you're giving because that's of greater value now than it used to be. So those are things to remember as people are commenting on your posts as well. And it'll change. It always changes.
Right. Yep.
Fascinating.
So I love that action post, that action point from Meredith. We're going to just be sticklers about this power hour. That's literally get your post calendared, get your power hour calendared with these authentic reach outs. There's everything that she said about the different ways to post. Those could be different reach outs that you're making in your power hours and in your follow-ups. So there's so much material that should make you feel really great about doing it. And let's just really tell the truth of how many people we're talking to and feel good about it. And if it hasn't been a lot, just start anew. That's what can happen in a week with a good power hour week. It can be stunning. Mm-hmm. So thank you all so much. We're going to track with accountability for power hours. Please get with your mentor and plan them, send photos of them, have your mentor do it back to you. Make sure she's on her game. And we'll just keep going here. Thank you all so very much. Just like go out there, be problem solvers. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Guys.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Everything, Meredith and Melissa. Good night.
Good night.